All right, dudes, we are back. Before we get started on the review, I want to do this giveaway. We were sent all this gear from countycomm.com, and they just are freaking awesome. What they do is they put together like EDC gear and survival stuff, and they have really high quality things. A lot of it is designed for use by the government, so you know that you're getting a reputable name behind the product that you get. But that being said, they gave us all this stuff for free to kind of show and tell and get their name out there as far as the company's concerned. So we're giving it back, just like always, letting you guys pick out. This time we're going to do 3 giveaways. So 3 different people are going to have opportunities to win this stuff. And all you have to do is be a subscriber, same as always, and hit that like button down there. Give us the old thumbs up and leave a comment. You'll be good to go. And then you'll be entered to win one of these 3. And we're going to pick in order of 3 different people, probably a 4th in case the others don't pick. But yeah. This set is going to be the grab and go kit, which is like a first aid bag with an LED flashlight. This is like a $35 flashlight. This thing is freaking sweet, and you're going to get that cool bag. This one is a military grade aluminum waterproof case, our little container there, so you can kind of store your stuff in it. That is empty, but it comes with this is like a limited edition item according to the website. You get this cool little pry bar for throwing on your keychain, so you don't have to use your folding knife to dig out staples or whatever. Get this little screwdriver. It's a mini pocket screwdriver. It has a flat head and it unscrews on both ends, so you're gonna get the flat head and the Phillips. A little mini lighter. This has like a little butane spot in it. You can just light it up, just kind of like very similar to a Zippo. So that'll be another one. So you can pick from that, this, or this thing. This is like a pry bar slash, I don't want to say survival tool, but it does take paracord wrap right here, so you can have a little handle, and it has a gas main shut-off valve little hole right there, so you can kind of, in a dire situation or whatever, you could turn the gas off, and it has like a beveled edge, so you can, jam that into boxes or crates and open that thing up. Plus it comes with this sweet Kydex sheath and a tech lock. So you're going to get all that with this one. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys. You get to pick which of these 3 selections you'd prefer. All you got to do is hit the like button and leave a comment. All right, let's get to it. All right. I apologize ahead of time, guys. The screen is a little crowded. I realize that. I'm not saying that you should carry all this gear in no way, shape, or form. I am just, throwing out ideas of things that you could be carrying or things that you may or may not need later on down the road that, might be a wise idea to invest in, something that you might want to look into, because I use a lot of this stuff in rotation daily. So I carry a lot of different gear, not overwhelming, especially during the summer because it gets really hot, especially this week. But these are just some ideas here for you. So that being said, let's get into it. Besides the obvious, having a firearm, the number one thing that I think everybody needs to have, obviously, is a knife. A knife is one of the most useful tools that really comes to mind whenever you do anything. If it's opening packages, you're out in the woods on a hike and you want to cut up some meat on the grill, whatever the case is, that is a super valuable tool that you definitely are going to use one way or another. My grandfather's carried one for 60 years, maybe even longer, however long it's been, but he's carried it forever, and they're just something that you're always going to use. And there's a lot of different models. I mean, this is a small one that I carry during the summer because obviously I carry a firearm. So as far as defensive purposes, I rely heavily on my pistol as opposed to carrying a knife. But when I go into Maryland, where I work, I may carry a bigger knife. And this is something that you have to figure out for yourself, whether you're into the whole fixed blade ordeal, which I very much am, or if you're into the folding knives. And this is a slightly larger option there. So this is the benchmade riff. But that's definitely something you're going to want to have in your arsenal there, is a knife for certain. That's definitely going to be number 1 for me. Now, whether you pick a fixed blade or a folder, that's up to you. Number 2. The number 2 thing that I always have on me that is super valuable that you may or may not think is a flashlight. I carry this flashlight relentlessly, whether it's, hot, cold, whatever. This is always coming with me. 1, because I buy guns so often and I need to check the bore just to make sure it's, not all rusted out. But you can use these for everything. Whenever my daughter loses a toy under the couch or something, I look for it with my flashlight. If I'm out in the car and there's something dripping under the car, whatever, there's so many different, uses for this. And a lot of people like to veer off track and say, oh, well, my phone has a flashlight. That's not something you can rely on. How often does your phone battery die and you complain about that? So you definitely want to have a useful flashlight, whether it's one like this that's, you know, like an upright style lamp with a clip, or if it's just something small like the TI3 that just drops in your pocket. I mean, this thing was, I want to say it was like $14, worth every penny, every penny. Next for me, something I always carry, and this is just me, I always carry fire. You never know when you're going to need fire. You know, portable fire is awesome. This is the one I've been carrying a lot lately just because it's really convenient. But it's your typical Bic lighter. Now, whether or not you're using this in a survival scenario or you're out in the woods and you're trekking around and you want to start a little campfire, this thing's great. You definitely want to have one of those. It could be a conversation piece, you know, if you're outside at a bar or something and you see some cute girl smoking, and you know that's kind of gross, but you see a cute girl smoking and you want to go up and talk to her and she doesn't have a lighter, bam, there's your in. If you're at your in-laws house and you know got to go to the bathroom and you stink it up, you can, you know, light some toilet paper and over the toilet and put it out in the toilet, and it kind of kills the smell. There's just a lot of different uses. You could use something like a little bean one. Use a Zippo, which I used to carry a lot, very cool. But fire is super useful, whether or not it's a survival scenario or whether you're, you know, in the bathroom blowing it up. That's just something that, you know, always comes in handy for me. I find myself using more often than I think I would. Another thing, I don't carry this all the time, but I carry it, I'd say probably 75 to 80% of the time. The pen. This is a really cool one. I actually got this on a recommendation from a viewer. This is the Fisher Space Pen, and it writes upside down in water and grease. Apparently, I haven't actually tested it on that, but it's really cool and it's super nifty for, you know, whenever you need to write down some little notes or information or a phone number or whatever that is. This is a slightly cheaper model. Got this at the dollar store, but, you know, works just the same, relatively speaking. This one's plastic though. That's steel. Let's see. Another category that I carry often, very often, probably 90% of the time, is a pair of sunglasses. Now, I highly recommend getting yourself a good pair of sunglasses. Don't cheap out and go to Walmart and get a junk pair. Spend the money, you know. Get something that you like that'll last a little bit. One of my favorite pairs of all time are these. These are super expensive, and you don't necessarily need to get these, but these are the Oakley Juliets, and they are in the $400 price range if you can find them, but they've lasted me 10 years. I've dropped them, I've beat them, I've scratched them. They're case hardened X steel or whatever they call it, but it's super, you know, worth it. They've lasted me 10 years, and presuming you don't lose them, a good pair of sunglasses will, you know, go stand the test of time, and they'll stick around with you. And you're going to use them throughout the changing of the seasons, you know. Whether it's summer and it's really sunny out, or it's winter and it's snowing, the sun glares on the snow and it's in your face. So a good pair of sunglasses is definitely something that, you know, can't be looked over. Now, obviously, we got back to the knives originally, but the number one thing that I like to carry, if I can, is obviously a firearm. If you're legally permitted where you live and you're not, you know, in trouble with the law, I definitely recommend getting a small firearm. You know, if you could do mid-size, you could do full-size, but I prefer the smaller ones for the time being. This is a Glock 26, but this thing just fits me perfectly, especially, you know, right now when it's super hot out. But regardless, if you're in a state that you can't carry a firearm, look into your local laws, make sure you're allowed to, and find something that's, you know, non-lethal, like, for example, mace or, you know, saber spray, whatever you want to call it. Some places you might be allowed to carry a collapsible baton. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that because that could be construed as some sort of weapon. You know, they may, you know, tack on something for that, but I would definitely look into your local laws and see if you are able to carry that. Some guys, including guys like James Yeager, pack on magazines. So he probably has about 50 magazines on him at any given time. I usually carry one, maybe a spare. That's neither here nor there. Some people can't have guns. So you may want to look into the less lethal option. This, I don't carry these that often. I probably carry them 50% of the time. Chapstick, if you've seen my previous videos, you know what I use the chapstick for. If you haven't seen the videos, chapstick is a fire extender. So when you put that on a cotton ball or a piece of clothing or something along those lines, it's going to extend the fire longer than if you lit a piece of material on fire by itself. I have videos doing that, so you can kind of check that out and see. But yeah, it's not just for, you know, lip balm. It's also got, you know, its purposes outside of that. So that's something you can look into. Obviously, we all carry wallets. I would invest in a wallet. Don't just buy some cheapo wallet. This one wasn't too bad. I think this was $15. This is the Max Edition. I don't remember what model it is. This is just like great. You know, it's just compact, it's small, has cash, cards, and concealed carry ID, blah, 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 blah. Super, super happy I made this purchase. This is a little small, so if you're carrying cash in large amounts, that may not work for you. But just look into it. You know, get yourself a nice quality wallet that's going to last you a long time. This one's been around, I want to say I've had that for 6 months, and I'm in love with it. It's great. This is kind of the miscellaneous section here. So these are just little coffee pouches that I've been using. We got these sent to us by, who was it? I guess it is, yeah, it's Grinds. They're based out of California. But yeah, I just, use these. That's just miscellaneous. You don't necessarily have to carry that, but I do from time to time. Little pry bar, super cool. But that's just kind of a general overview, guys. This is the things that you need to, consider when you're carrying stuff. Most of this stuff here has purpose in every day. You're not gonna sit here and be like, oh, I'm gonna pack on my bug out bag and take it out to the mall. Like, no, that's not the scenario I'm talking about. I'm talking about utilizing the tools that you have for the situations that are required of them. Like, for example, a folding pocket knife is not a pry tool. You're not gonna pry with this because this is a $150 knife and you don't want to damage it up or take a chance on breaking it, even though Benchmade has a kick-ass warranty. This little thing costs like $7 to $10. Throw that on a keychain, pop. Go do whatever you got to do with it. This will pry out all kinds of good stuff. And they make titanium models in all kinds of different colors and whatnot. So that's a really cool little unique thing that you can throw on your keychain and rock and roll with. And it doesn't add too much extra weight. So you're not overdoing it here. Now, a lot of people on their EDC reviews kind of reference a multi-tool, which I do carry. If I'm wearing jeans and it's like wintertime or whatever, I will rock the Leatherman Wave. Yes, I will. Because this thing is invaluable when you need it. Like, for example, if you need a pair of pliers or a screwdriver or a little mini saw, whatever the case may be, you have a multi-tool there to kind of fill that void. And this thing is super valuable, but obviously during the summertime, right now on the East Coast, it's like 105 degrees outside, so you're not gonna necessarily want to bulk yourself down with something this big. And when it comes to multi-tools, if it doesn't have a pair of pliers or a couple of different, unique things that I need, I'm not going to carry it. Like some of those Swiss Army knives, they don't have things that I would use in my daily life, so I'm not going to go and, put the extra weight on by carrying something like that. Some do. Some have uses for that stuff. But me personally, if I don't think I'm going to need a Leatherman, if I don't think that it's going to be that kind of a day, if I'm not going to work in the yard or, do something related to that, I'm not going to carry it just because it's kind of heavy and overwhelming. You may need it, but if you're willing to suck up the weight that it, it undoubtedly adds, then by all means, there you go. So these are kind of the basic things that I would recommend. Look into them, check them out. Definitely look into countycomm.com because that website has tons of stuff, tons and tons of stuff that you can get. And I mean, honestly, it's at a really affordable price. There it is, the website again, countycomm.com. And I think you guys are going to be really impressed. I mean, they have really good prices. So make sure you hit that subscribe button down there and give us the old thumbs up on this video so you can enter to win some of the gear that we just showed you. All right, fellas, we'll be back later.